It's just true, okay? Nothing negative, it's just the truth. But this is the message that God has given me to share. And in a few minutes, I think it will make sense why the Spirit of God wanted us dads to think about our words today. So even though this message is for everyone, dads, I want to say to us today, and I want us to ponder this. Our words are powerful and eternal, and the things that we say matter. And the reason I know that this is true is because there are times I've said to my parents, remember when you said this to me? And then I will say to them verbatim what they said to me. And they say, we don't remember those words. And I'm saying, I sure remember those words. I remember when they said to you, Harv, we don't think you'll make it through high school. I remember those words very vividly, you know? Nothing against my parents. It's just I was kind of a little troublemaker, you know? So, but you see, once words are out, once words have been released from our lips, guess what? Those words float on and on and on and on in our relationships. Those words float around and are remembered in that relationships forever. And dads, we especially underestimate the power of our words. And here's one of the reasons why our words, Dad, are so important. The greater our authority, the greater the weight of our words. Dads, if no one has told you in a while, let me remind you, according to this book, and we do believe in this book here, you are the ultimate authority in your home. That's why there is greater weight to your words. Make no mistake about it. There is greater weight to your words, Dad, than anyone else in the household. Now, I know this is a little heavy. I really kind of struggled with God. I said, come on, God, I really kind of hammer the men every Father's Day. And I wanted to speak something light and funny, but God said, you know what? This is what I want you to talk about. I want you to talk about your words. Amen. And maybe this message is more for me than anybody else, so be it. But dads, I'm really asking us to consider this thought today. Our words are powerful. Our words last forever. The things that we say matter. And God's word, of course, affirms this truth. In Matthew 18:18, in the Message paraphrase, Jesus puts it this way. And this is Jesus speaking. He says, take this most seriously. That should make us kind of very quickly listen. He says, a yes on earth is yes in heaven. A no on earth is no in heaven. What you say to one another is eternal. What you say to one another is eternal. I mean this. Those words are pretty clear, aren't they? Again, in Matthew 12:36 through 37, Jesus says, words are powerful. Take them seriously. Words can be your salvation. Words can also be your damnation. That's kind of scary, isn't it? So dads, our words are powerful. They are eternal. And the things that we say matter. And here's why. Don't miss this. Because our words will shape our children's lives. Our words will shape our children's lives. Listen to this article. I found this in the Guidepost. I just love this. This is about professional baseball player Russell Martin Jr. and his dad. This is what he writes. He says, I'm a professional baseball player. That means I've heard the national anthem performed thousands of times. But this night was different. That was my dad out there playing his saxophone for nearly 55,000 fans before a game against the Pittsburgh Pirates. I watched anxiously from the top step of the dugout and followed every note, praying for him to do his best. A few bars into the performance, a funny thing happened. I realized our roles had reversed. All my life, he'd rooted for me, prayed for me to do my best. Now I was rooting for him. For most of his days, he'd been a street musician, but thanks to him, I was now the Dodgers catcher. Sports and music have been the mainstays in my life for as long as I can remember. Sports, because from early childhood, that's what I loved and did best. Music, because that was as vital to my dad's life as, well, breathing. When I was just 2, Dad tossed a ball in the living room. I caught it in 2 hops. Did you see that? He yelled, turning to his brother. I think we've got a ball player here. Dad was right. From that time on, we spent every day we could at the local park. Me with my little red bat and Montreal Expos cap, him with a bag of baseballs and 2 fielder's gloves. "Man," he'd say when I got into one, "you really hit that ball." At home, we'd watch baseball games together, and what I loved most is when my dad would use his announcer's voice and say, "Now hitting for the Expos, Russell Martin. It's the bottom of the ninth. Here comes the pitch. There's a shot to deep right field. That ball is out of there." That's when I knew what I wanted most in my life, to be a major league ball player. Dad worked hard with me every day, but also worked hard at his job every day. Each morning before dawn, he headed for the subway station where he played his saxophone, the case open at his feet for donations. When rush hour was over, he returned home and we headed to the park to practice. We broke at lunch, then returned to the field and practiced all afternoon. I'd be tuckered out, but Dad went back to the subway station to play for the evening rush hour crowd. My dad grew up in tough times. He had to make his own way. "You want to be a ball player? You're going to have to earn it," he'd say. "You're not a big guy. Nobody's going to hand anything to you. You're going to have to work, and you're going to have to believe." And so, that's what I did. On the way home from school one day, passing through the subway station, I heard the mournful wail of his saxophone. I'd known for years Dad played in the subway, but I'd never seen him perform. I rushed to where he stood and listened and watched. Wow, I thought my dad is really good. That night I said to him, "Dad, I saw you in the subway on my way home from school. How come you just play during rush hours?" It occurred to me that he could have made a lot more money by playing there all day. "I do that so that I can spend the day with you and help you practice," he said. "Like I told you, money isn't what's important in my life." That's when it hit me how much my dad had done for me, how much he'd sacrificed for me, believed in me. I guess when you have two people who believe in the same dream, it's twice as likely to come through. I could never pay my dad back. All I could do was be as passionate and devoted to my work as he was to his. The day I finally made it to the Dodgers, my dad was happier than I was. And as soon as I could, I flew him to LA. We were playing the Mets that night. Pitching for them was one of my dad's heroes, Pedro Martinez. I hit a double off to him, and as I rounded first base, I heard my dad shouting, "Yeah, that's my boy." The LA Times did a story about me and Dad, and after that, everyone in the city knew that my dad played the saxophone in the Montreal subway. One day, the Dodgers owner called him and invited him to come and play the national anthem. The night he performed, I couldn't wait to get out of the dugout. There he was on the field, playing that sacred song. He played it slow and soulful, giving it kind of a deeper meaning. I watched him with awe and an indescribable pride. My dad. He got a standing ovation when he was finished. Both dugouts were standing too. The Pirates came up to me afterwards saying, "That was your dad? Man, he's amazing." Yeah, but not nearly as amazing as the two of us standing on the brilliant green grass of Dodger Stadium sharing one dream together. I love that story. I've read it 5 or 6 times now, and I kind of get choked up every time. And I think what I love about this story is that from the age of 2, Russell Martin heard the encouraging and affirming words of his dad. From the age of 2, he heard the encouraging and affirming words of his father. He also heard words of challenge and hard work, and those words set the course for his life. Those words shaped his life. Dads, our words have the power to shape our children's life. The Bible affirms this. Proverbs 22:6, it says, "Train up a child in the way he should go." Dads, we need to use our word to train our children. With our words, we can teach them good work ethic. With our words, we can teach them what it means to achieve. With our words, we can teach them what it means to dream. With our words, we can shape our children's life. With our words, we can either set them on the right road or the wrong road. The words that we speak to our children are powerful because they are eternal. And they matter because the words we speak shape our children's life. And the last part of this Bible verse proves that. It says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old,